Hey, Breakaway, welcome to our summer programming, all right? This is our first teaching video for the summer. Make sure to join us Wednesday at 5 p.m. For our Midweek Focus. I hope to see you guys there. It's a time where in the middle of the week, we can reconnect with God and have like a devotional together, pray together, worship together. It's on Zoom. Go to our linktree. The link will be in the bio to find the link to that Zoom. And hopefully I'll see you guys there. All right, as we get started this week, we are starting a new series called In My Opinion. All right, and we are talking today about the power of our words and what that means for us and for other people. Sometimes we use this phrase, in my opinion, when we're not really sure how other people are about to take what we're going to say, right? So we'll use it to try to hide ourselves from feeling judgment from other people. So we'll say, in my opinion, that was the hardest test I've ever taken. Or in my opinion, these sneakers are the coolest sneakers out there, right? We'll use in my opinion to kind of hide ourselves from judgment from other people if we're not really sure about what we're about to say next. Now, we might use that phrase to hide ourselves from judgments of other people, but it also goes both ways. Sometimes we'll use it to pass judgment on to other people, right? We'll use it to judge other people without wanting to feel bad. Adding a quick in my opinion in there might make it seem like what we're about to say next isn't as judgmental as it really is. In my opinion, she's too clingy. In my opinion, he's a jerk. Now, just to be clear, there is nothing wrong with having opinions, right? We all have them. But there is something wrong with having judgments upon other people. But the problem is that what we sometimes think of as opinions are actually just judgments. And when we start speaking them out loud, we start sharing them to other people, and then we are just causing judgment around our friends. But honestly, you guys don't really need me telling you this. You're middle schoolers. You guys understand how judgmental people can be, right? You guys walk through school, you walk down the hallways, you walk into the lunchroom, and you constantly feel judged by other people. You guys know more than I do what it's like to be a middle schooler. In fact, why do we find it so easy to gossip about people, right? I think we all find this easy. We want to be the first ones to share the story. We want to be the first ones to hear about the story. We want to be the ones in the know and not the outsiders that don't know what's going on. And I think there's lots of reasons why we like gossip and we like to pass judgments onto other people. I think we gossip because it's a way to bond with our friends. We gossip because, honestly, it can just be fun. Sometimes we gossip because it's about competition. We want to look better than somebody else, so we gossip about them. We want to make ourselves look better, so we gossip about somebody else. Or maybe we gossip or spread opinions or judgments because they're true, right? Sometimes there's some truth that we find out that we want to spread around to other people, and that can get even more tricky because it's not really an opinion, it's actually true, it's fact, but we still want to pass it along to other people and pass judgment. And I think the hardest one of all is when our intentions are not to hurt somebody else, and we have no intention of spreading wrong rumors or gossip about anybody else. We are just talking about somebody else, and we pass along judgment. The reality is that gossip and judgment is a huge part of our culture. We see it in TV, we see it in music, we see it all in our surroundings of school and friends and just our culture. So if gossip is a huge part of our culture, but we also know it causes pain and harm and we shouldn't be doing it, how do we reconcile that? What do we do with these two things? Today we're going to jump into the book of Ephesians. Now, we have talked about Paul a good amount here in Breakaway. Paul was one of the early leaders of the church who wrote many books in the New Testament called the epistles, which are like letters. And so Paul wrote the book of Ephesians, right? It's his letter to the church in a city called Ephesus. Now, as we look into this verse, we have to realize that Paul is encouraging the Christians in the city of Ephesus and what he believes to be the truth and how we should live our lives. So let's look into the book of Ephesians. All right, we're reading Ephesians 4, verse 29. All right, we're in chapter 4, verse 29, and it says, "Don't use foul or abusive language." Now, this verse has been talked about quite a good amount in culture. I don't know if you guys have heard it before. Maybe your parents have used it on you for using bad language before, or when you talk down to your sibling, maybe they've used this. I'm not sure. But it's a really important verse. Now, Paul is not just talking about cursing, but he's also talking about speaking poorly or harmfully to one another, right? Foul language is bad language, but abusive means harmful or hurtful. So all of that is encompassed as is included in this verse. Paul was talking about any language that hurts, breaks down, causes conflict amongst friends, right? In fact, the true word used in the original Greek in this verse actually means rotten. Think about rotten language. It rots, it breaks down, it causes harm to those around it. Now, how many of you guys have ever opened the fridge and just smelled something rotten? It's probably one of the worst moments when you're really hungry and you just open the fridge and just a big whiff of disgustingness fills your face, right? I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but probably the worst thing I've ever done is smelled rotten milk, right? If you guys ever wanted to open up the milk for some cereal in the morning and you open that lid and just rotten milk smell comes right to your nostrils, there's nothing worse than that smell. Now, what do you do to get rid of that, right? You have to get it out of the fridge, you have to dispose of it and get rid of it. And I believe that's what we have to do with our rotten language, right? It infests everything around it. When you open that fridge, the entire fridge smells terrible. It's not just the milk that smells bad, it infests everything around it. So what do? How do we avoid this rotten milk, and how do we truly have good words and truth come out of our hearts, right? Well, Mark, the disciple, actually writes about in his gospel how we can speak truth instead of having this rotten milk come out of our mouths. In Mark chapter 7, verse 15, he writes, "It's not what goes into your body that defiles you. You are defiled by what comes from your heart." Now, can I let you guys in on a little secret about gossip, right? I've been there before. I've been in those situations. A little piece about gossip is that it's actually really not about the people you're speaking about, or maybe the people you're hearing about. It's actually way more about your heart. It's about the person's heart that is spreading gossip. When we use rotten language, or when we use harmful words, right? When we use gossip to pass judgment upon other people, that's not about the words we're speaking, but where it's coming from. And it's coming from inside, it's coming from our heart. And that means there is some kind of rottenness inside of us that we have to address. So when you decide to speak with the intentions of hurting or harming, maybe embarrassing or making somebody else look bad, it really is not a reflection of how bad that person looks, but it's a reflection of how bad you end up looking. So if we want to change our hearts and we want to stop gossiping and passing judgment upon other people, we have to address what's in our hearts. We have to check our hearts and see where we're at. And the greatest thing about this topic of gossip and judgment is that it's a choice, right? We all have a choice to either choose to participate in this or to not participate. And Paul doesn't leave us hanging high and dry just saying, hey, don't curse, don't speak any foul language, right? Don't worry about it. No, he actually gives us the alternative. And he says, here's what you can do instead of speaking foul or harmful language. This is what he says. In Ephesians 4:29b, Paul writes, "Let everything you say be good and helpful, so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them." So instead of gossiping, Paul tells us we can choose words that are helpful. We can choose words that are good. We can choose words that encourage not only the people we're talking about, but the people that we're talking to, right? It not only affects the person that is the subject of what we're talking about, but it affects all the friends that we're talking to, the people around us, whoever we're speaking with. When inside of you, in your heart, you care and love people first, the words that come out of your mouth will not be to embarrass others. They will not be to hurt others or to put others down, to lift only yourself up. When inside in your heart you care for other people, you will speak words of kindness and of love and of patience about other people. You will show the fruits of the Spirit that Paul also talks about with your words coming from a place in your heart. So the point for today is that you guys can choose words that help others, not words that hurt others, right? So the words in our mouth need to come from a place of helping and not hurting. Now, we're not always going to be able to control the environments around us. We are going to be around gossip. We're going to hear it. We're going to see it. We will experience gossip around us. But we always have the choice and the decision to either participate or not participate in gossip, right? We have the decision to either pass judgment upon others or to speak from a place of kindness toward others. Now, I know this is going to be difficult. It's still difficult for me today to always choose to be kind, right? But I know that we can do this. And I know that with God's help, it is absolutely achievable. But I also know that it can only come from God's strength. And so what I want to encourage you guys to do is to pray to God and ask Him for the strength to speak words of love and of patience and of kindness. Pray to God and ask Him for help. Ask God to show you where it is in your heart that you are gossiping from. where it is inside of you that makes you want to pass judgment upon to other people. Once you identify that, you can stop passing judgment onto other people and start speaking kindly about them. So start using a new filter on your words and think, before I say this, is this going to be helpful to other people? Is this helpful to the person I'm speaking about or those that I'm speaking to? Use that filter, pray to God, and let's start changing our hearts and our minds with the words that we speak. Let's all choose words that help others and stop choosing words that hurt others, and be the example that Christ is throughout the earth. So today I want you guys to think about this one question as we head out, all right? As you guys go about your day, maybe you're watching this on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday, I don't know which day you're watching this, but as you go about your day-to-day and about your week, think about, what is one reason that I tend to gossip? And think about that. What is the reason for you why you want to gossip? All right, Breakaway, thanks so much for joining us this week for our first week of our summer programming and our first week of In My Opinion. All right, I want to see you guys Wednesday at 5 p.m. Also, if you guys want a driveway visit, shoot me a text or an email. Have your parents reach out to me if they have my contact info, and I would love to come by, maybe bring a snack, hang out on your porch, and get to see you guys, all right? We will update you soon with any new information we got in terms of when Breakaway is meeting next, when we're allowed to meet in person. But for now, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you guys soon.